Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again. Today I'm here in the basement because where else would I be? And I just got done doing some safety bar squat work, and that's one of the reasons I'm wearing my knee sleeves and my belt. Although I can't really explain the headband because I have no hair to keep out of my eyes, but it is what it is. And doing this, I was looking through my training log and realized it's been over 2 years since I've done a front squat, and that's because the safety bar has completely replaced them in my routine, and for good reason. Now, if you look at some of my older videos when I was training in a commercial gym without the use of a safety bar, I used to do a lot of front squats. In fact, I thought they were one of the best assistance exercises that you could do for the back squat because they put a ton of emphasis on your quads, which is good for us that don't have big legs. And they also really make you fight to keep upright and keep the bar from falling forward. So they were a staple of my routine, and as they are for most people. But that being said, I do feel that they're extremely inferior to the safety bar squat. Big reason behind that is when I take a look at people doing front squats, and myself included, one of the main reasons people tended to fail lifts wasn't because their legs and quads would give out, it's because they just couldn't maintain that bar position. And that's regardless if you had an Olympic style rack in the front, if you used more of a cross grip, or even some of the strap variations, which I made a video on quite a while ago. It was almost always people having to dump the bar before their legs gave out, which in my opinion is one of the reasons you wouldn't want to do that. If you're training a lift as assistance, you're trying to focus on a certain aspect. In this case, you're trying to focus on your legs. So in my estimation, you try to do an exercise that lets you overload that as well as get the biggest range of motion. Now I say that because then some people might bring up a past video I did about how I think rack pulls are overrated, and I do still think they are, but that's because even though they allow you to extremely overload the weight, you really are dealing with a very short range of motion, and I don't think the carryover is as great as something like, in this case, the safety bar squat, where you get a ton of quad involvement. Now, I've seen a lot of people on social media also post how front squats are overrated, and I agree. I don't know necessarily if it's the same reason for I do, because I do still think that that type of movement where you're emphasizing the quads and bracing and trying to fight from leaning over can be beneficial, but in my opinion, you should be replacing these with a safety bar if you have access to one, which of course not everybody does, but it's a huge benefit because when you take a look at it, where the actual weight is on a front squat is very similar as to where it is on a safety bar. And that's because of the padding and the camber of the bar putting the weight out in front of you, thus transferring a lot of the force and pressure onto your quads. But in this case, what you have with the padding and the way the bar sits on your back, you have an extremely stable bar position. In fact, many people can do a safety bar squat without their hands on the bar whatsoever. Even if you take a look at the old Krepensek safety bar squats, they don't have handles at all, they just have the pad itself, and that's because the bar is extremely balanced, which allows you to really overload the weight you're using and focus on your legs, which again, in my opinion, is what a front squat should be doing initially anyways. So that's one of the reasons I haven't done front squats whatsoever. I think they're a valid exercise if that's all you have real access to, although there might be other ways you can overload your quads. But if you have the money to invest in a safety squat bar, I would highly recommend it. If you're going to buy one specialty bar and one specialty bar only, it would definitely be a safety squat bar. Later on, I'll do a review of the one that I own and compare it to some of the other ones on the market, including the Kabuki Transformer bar, the Rogue safety squat bar, the Titan safety squat bar, which everyone tends to go to because of the price, but it's a terrible bar, never buy it. But I'll give you some feedback on the bar that I own and why I like it. But at the end of the day, I think it's a far superior exercise to a front squat, yet giving you all the benefits and more. If you have any questions about that or anything else, leave them in the comment section below. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.